What's the story, Morning Glory? What is the word, Hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this review of 90 Day Fiancé, The Other Way, Season 7, Episode 1, C'est la vie. So we are back with The Other Way, and we are back with Jenny and Sumit. Before we get too deep into Jenny and Sumit, I did want to say that I've never believed for a second that Sumit's mother had finally come around and began to accept Jenny. I've never believed that. That woman had so much hatred towards Jenny and the relationship between Jenny and Sumit. It was just hard for me to believe that all of a sudden she saw the light and accepted Jenny as her daughter-in-law. No, I've never believed it, not for once. So this episode gave me a lot of clarification, and it just reaffirmed my beliefs of Sumit's mom not giving a damn about Jenny and still very, very, very mad that her son chose Jenny to be his wife. But let's get into it. So they start off by telling us, Sumit and Jenny, they start off by telling us that they've been together for 15 years. I don't know exactly how long they've been married, but they've been together in total of 15 years. So we have to go down memory lane to see how they met and how their relationship progressed, etc. Now, I've never seen it for Jenny and Sumit. I think Jenny and Sumit are kind of like fan favorites. I've never really seen it for Jenny and Sumit. Reason being, Sumit catfished Jenny. And the fact that she accepted that and still wanted to be with this man after he catfished her, I've never gotten over that. I've never gotten past that. I didn't understand how a woman would be okay with someone catfishing her, lying about who he is, lying about his identity, lying about the way he looks, using someone else's photos to portray as himself. And then when the truth came out, she's just like, okay, I was already in love with him. I fell in love with the person. Not really, it wasn't really about the appearance, it was about the person. It doesn't negate the fact, Jenny, that this man lied to you for however long that y'all were talking before you found out who he really was. This man lied to you. Moving on from there. She accepted it. I never did. It made no sense to me. And then we're also reminded that while Jenny and Sumit were having a long distance relationship, when she was living in California and he was living in India, he got married to a whole nother woman. She didn't find out until after she moved to India. That is when she found out that Sumit was married to somebody else. And it was a big fiasco because, well, first of all, Sumit's excuse was that his parents forced him into an arranged marriage. He didn't love the woman. He was basically forced to marry this woman completely against his will. He had no feelings for her, didn't like her, didn't love her, didn't want her. And the two families just got together and made this marriage happen against his will. So, okay, fine. I can give you that. Totally understandable. I understand that in some cultures, this is how it is with these arranged marriages. I believed him. I accepted that. What I didn't accept is him not telling Jenny about it, because if they were as close as they perceived to be, as they wanted us to believe they were, I mean, close enough for her to leave her life in the United States and come live in India with him. If they were that close, why wouldn't he have told her, Jenny, this is what's going on in my life? I want to be with you. I want to make this work with you. But my parents are forcing me to marry some other woman. And I understand that Jenny would have been upset, and Jenny would have been like, no, you need to stand up to your parents. Don't let this happen, or I'm not going to be with. Of course, there was a chance of losing Jenny, but I don't think that that was an excuse to lie to her about this and for her to find out the way she did. I just didn't agree with that. He should have told her. He should have told her, and he should have given her the right to decide if she wanted to help him out of it or if she wanted to move on and do something else and break up with him. But he deceived her. This whole time he was married, he was like, it's not like he got married overnight, right? It was like this whole entire arrangement of him getting married to this other woman, and he didn't let her onto it, not one bit. I don't know if he finally revealed himself. No, that's not how it happened. I think she was home. She had already moved to India, and he got them a place together, but he was going back and forth, I think, between the place they had together and his family's home. And she was home by herself, and I think her family showed up out of nowhere and were banging on the door, demanded to be let in. I don't know if they were looking for Sumit or if they were trying to confront Jenny. I don't remember how it went down, but it was very scary for Jenny to have these strangers pounding on her door and her not knowing what the hell was going on. He didn't tell her. Very, very deceitful Sumit is. The catfishing, lying about the marriage. So I've never seen it for this couple. I don't think that Jenny should be married to Sumit. I think she should go back to California and leave all of this alone. But the woman's in love, okay? And the heart wants what the heart wants. And so here we are. So they talk about how his mom has finally accepted Jenny into their life. And the mom said that they said that the mother came around because everybody else in the family accepted Jenny, and she was the only one who refused to accept Jenny. So because the son, the other son, the daughter-in-law, and I guess her husband too, accepted Jenny, she didn't want to be left out in the rain by herself. So she decided to go ahead and accept Jenny as well, which, that alone is like it wouldn't make me feel good if I was Jenny. I wouldn't be happy that my mother-in-law finally ended up accepting me because she didn't want to be the one left out, not accepting me. Okay. So it's not like she genuinely likes me. It's like she just felt pressured into accepting me. I don't think that I would not have taken that as something positive, but Jenny saw it differently. Okay, so Jenny and Sumit were living in a really nice apartment together, and Sumit lost his job. No explanation given, no rhyme or reason given as to, maybe they talked about it on 90 Day, what is it called? The Daily Diaries, the 90 Day Diaries. Yeah, 90 Day Diaries. Maybe they talked about it there of exactly why he lost his job, because they were featured on that. And I try to watch the 90 Day Diaries, but the lack of production, that the fact that these are like all home movies or home videos, like they're recording themselves, I can't do it. So maybe it was explained there, but it wasn't explained on The Other Way as far as what happened to his job, because that's what I wanted to know. Did the business go belly up? Did he walk away from it? Was he fired? If he was fired, what the hell happened? But he lost his job and he can no longer afford the apartment that they're living in. And so they're going to have to move back in with his family. Sumit is thrilled about this because he's always been like a mama's boy. Him and his mom, before Jenny came in and tore them apart, him and his mom were pretty close. So he has no issues going back home. And plus, it's their culture for everyone to live in one home, for the whole family to live together. So he's excited about moving back home. Jenny, not so much. Sumit tells us that in his adult life, he's only been apart from his family for 6 years, which must be the 6 years that he was living with Jenny. Other than that, he's always lived at home. So Sumit and Jenny, they meet up with Sumit's brother and Sumit's sister-in-law. So the sister-in-law and Jenny, they go off together because they're doing some shopping. They're at the markets and they're doing some shopping. And so Jenny and her sister-in-law are together. And the sister-in-law tells Jenny that she's in for a rude awakening when she moves back home with Sumit's parents, because that mom ain't no damn joke. Okay, she's like, I mean, she's more than a cap. She's like, first of all, she is the matriarch. She runs the show, and she don't play. I don't even try to think of a word to describe her. To say captain, to say boss, to say leader, it's not even enough. Okay, the way that I see her and the way that she acts, those words aren't even adequate to describe how in line she has everybody. She's basically like a slave master. I don't know what else to say. Okay, so the sister-in-law tells Jenny that she's really in for a rude awakening when she comes to live with the in-laws, that her own time will no longer be her time. Jenny will no longer have the freedom and the luxury to wake up when she wants, eat when she wants, come and go as she pleases. All of that is going out the window. It was hard for Jenny to deal with the mother-in-law when the mother-in-law came to visit their home. Okay, so on last season, I think it was last season on the 90 Day Fiance The Other Way. I think it was last season or 2 years ago. I don't know how long ago it was. When the mother-in-law came to visit Jenny and Sumit, Jenny couldn't handle that. And she was only there for a visit for like a couple of hours because the mother-in-law came in and she was inspecting everything, criticizing everything, telling Jenny, get that broom, start sweeping, start cooking, put all this stuff up on the counter. She came in and she was like, directing the show and got Jenny off her butt and made Jenny do some chores. And Jenny's probably, she older than the mother-in-law. I don't know. But she came in there and she made Jenny in her own house, made Jenny get up and start cleaning and sweeping and putting stuff away in her own house. So I can only imagine what she's going to be going through when she's living in the mother-in-law's house. The sister-in-law says that if Jenny doesn't step in line, she's going to have problems with the mother-in-law because Jenny probably thinks that, oh, she likes me now, so I can kind of finesse her into relaxing a little bit, chilling out a little bit. And sister-in-law is like, oh, hell no. No. If you don't do the things that she wants you to do, when and how she wants it done, you're going to have problems with her. Shri gives her the rundown of what's expected of her, like what she's expected to do, wake up in the morning and make breakfast and do this and do that and whatever. So Sumit, we see him with his brother, and the brother tells Sumit basically the same thing that Shri told Jenny, that Jenny is in for a rude awakening. This is going to be like a culture shock for her. And Jenny's going to have a lot of responsibilities in the house. And Sumit tries to say that, oh, it's not going to be that bad. Her responsibilities are actually going to be cut in half because there's like more people to do more stuff. And his brother tells him, no, her responsibilities are actually going to double. They're not going to be cut in half. They're not going to be reduced. They're going to double because there's more to do. And the brother told Sumit, I don't want my wife to carry all the burden. So Jenny's not just doing for herself and you, she was even doing for Sumit. Sumit was probably, cooking his own food and getting his own plate and whatever and cleaning up after his own self. So the brother tells Sumit, my wife is not going to be the one to take up all the burden of the household chores. So Jenny's going to have to step up and help. And it's not just going to be her and you, it's going to be the parents, it's going to be everybody else involved. So yeah, she's going to have to actually step up and do more work, not less. Sumit says that Jenny needs to get adjusted to the culture. She's been there 6 years. Like, how much more does she need to be adjusted to? I don't understand. The sister-in-law tells Jenny that even she herself has had conflict with the mother-in-law. Now that right there said a whole lot. It said a whole hell of a lot because you would think that the sister-in-law and the mother-in-law being in the same, coming from the same country and having the same culture, that they would know what to expect from each other. Like the sister-in-law would know what to do to keep her mother-in-law happy. But she says that even she herself has had issues with her mother-in-law because one day the mother-in-law told her that, oh, you never make tea for me. And the daughter-in-law was kind of like, what the hell are you talking about? I'll always make tea for you. So I don't know what that issue was all about, what made the mother-in-law say that to her, because Cherie looks like someone who knows what's expected of her and does it. Okay. If for nothing else, to keep the peace in the house. So for the mother-in-law to tell Cherie, oh, you don't do this and you don't do that, or whatever she was complaining about, I was like, there's got to be something else going on there. There's got to be some type of underlying issue, because I can't imagine the mother-in-law just saying that out of nowhere. There must be some other type of issue. So Sumit says to us that Shri used to be his mother's favorite, but they had some kind of a falling out, which we don't know about yet, which I'm thinking it's more than just Shri not making tea for her. So Sumit says that his sister-in-law and his mom had a falling out. And so therefore, the mom gravitated towards Jenny. So basically, the mom needed numbers on her side. Okay. She wanted to basically, it seems like to me, ostracize her daughter-in-law when they had their falling out, because Jenny and her sister-in-law have always been pretty close. They've had a good relationship. So when the mother-in-law and Shri fell out, I guess she didn't want Shri and Jenny's bond to be even tighter, because now they can bond over their shared dislike for their mother-in-law. So the mother-in-law stepped in and tried to befriend Jenny, and all of a sudden she's accepting Jenny and she loves Jenny so much. It's because she didn't want the Jenny and her daughter-in-law to get even tighter, to get even closer. That's what it seems like to me. So these are all manipulative tactics that the mother-in-law is using. And so her like, or her acceptance of Jenny, is false. It's just a facade. She was just using Jenny against her own daughter-in-law. So the mom probably has, so because of this, because she's accepted Jenny into her life and into her family and whatnot, you know that the mother-in-law is going to have extremely high expectations from Jenny. She's not going to let Jenny slide on nothing. So they're leaving their apartment, and they've already packed up, and Jenny's asking Sumit, is the plan for us to live with your parents forever? Forever, ever? And Sumit's like, yep, yeah, we're going to be living there forever. And Jenny tells us, but she doesn't tell Sumit because she says she didn't want to argue with Sumit. But she tells us in her confessional, yeah, that's not happening. I'm not going to be staying with my in-laws forever. Sumit tells Jenny to make in order for her to make a really good impression. Now they're on their way to the in-laws, and he tells Jenny in the car, I want you to make a really good impression on my parents. So what I want you to do, our first night there, I want you to cook for the whole family. And Jenny tries to get out of it by saying, oh, I don't think they're going to like my American food. And Sumit doesn't buy that. He's like, Jenny, just try. You just need to try. They arrive at the mother-in-law's house. They start, the furniture is moved in, the boxes are moved in. So now they're in Jenny and Sumit's room, I'm assuming, and they're taking out, they're starting to unpack all of their personal things and clothes and whatnot. And the mother-in-law is like right there digging through all of Jenny's stuff. And so automatically, here she comes. The mother-in-law is like, oh my God, Jenny, you have so many clothes. Why do you have so much clothes? And Jenny's like, yeah, I know, I have a lot of clothes. I mean, Jenny's 67 years old. She's accumulated a lot of clothes, throughout her life. So the mother-in-law pulls up something and she holds it up and she's like, is this for you, Jenny? And Jenny's like, no, that doesn't fit me anymore. Because Jenny has put on, a little bit of weight since she's been living in India and whatnot. And so the mother-in-law takes the item of clothing that she was holding up and she just throws it at Shri. She's like, here, Shri, you can wear this. Because it doesn't fit Jenny. She didn't ask Jenny, can Shri have it? She didn't ask Shri, hey, do you want this? Do you like it? None of that. She just took it and threw it at Shri. It's like, here, you can have this. It doesn't fit Jenny anymore. Then she also takes out, was it like a bottle of rum that Jenny brought with her to cope with living with her in-laws? She brought some assistance. So the mother-in-law takes out her bottle of rum and she's like, what's this? And Jenny's like, that's my rum. And she says that she needs it for her migraines. The migraines that the mother-in-law is going to be causing. And Sumit tells his mom, oh, that's what she drinks to help her headaches. And the mom is like, we have doctors here in India. She doesn't need to drink this. And then she took out like a smaller bottle of liquor and it looked like she was going to throw it on the ground. And Jenny was like, no, 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 no. She just arrived, hasn't been there a full hour, and already the mess has started. So this whole thing to me just seems kind of concocted by the producers because Jenny and Sumit could have been just fine. I don't even know if Sumit really lost his job. I don't know what's going on, but they wanted Jenny and Sumit back for some reason, right? I guess they make for good TV. And instead of having Jenny and Sumit live a normal life, they're like, no, let's just say Sumit lost his job and he can't afford to pay for y'all's apartment. And y'all are going to be moving in with the family and let the shenanigans ensue. Now we've got good television. That's what I feel like is going on here because it just doesn't make any sense for Jenny and Sumit to go and live with his family. Like, doesn't Jenny have Social Security coming in? Wouldn't that afford them like a little tiny place until Sumit gets a job? Like, I didn't understand. Whatever. Maybe it's real. I have no idea if any of this is real or not. But does it make good TV? Hell yeah, it does. It makes really good TV because I was kind of glued to the whole Jenny and Sumit segment. Moving on from there, let's talk about our next couple, which is Manon. I think that's how you pronounce it. Manon from France and Anthony from LA. So Manon is 32 years old. Her husband Anthony is 33 years old. Manon is originally from France, but she moved to LA a few years ago. And she's basically like a plus size social media influencer. She's all about body positivity and accepting your body, accepting your curves. She does a lot of plus size, I guess, modeling on her social media platform, but she also has a corporate job as well. So she's super, super busy. She's been married 3 years. They have a baby boy together. Her husband is a stay-at-home dad. She she's an executive marketing director. That's her, I guess, her 9 to 5. And she also owns her own social media agency, and she runs her social media platform. So when we see Manon, she's with all of her plus size girls or taking pictures, I guess, for her social media platforms. And yeah, that's what she's all about. She's all about this whole body positivity thing. So she sits down with her friends. That she had the photo shoot with, and she sits them down and she's like, I got something to tell y'all. Life here in America has been kind of hectic for me. And her and her husband are having marital issues. Him, I don't know if I'm not quite sure exactly what's going on, but it has a lot to do with finances and her wanting to kind of slow down because she's a busy bee. She's got the day job, she's got the social media, she's got a lot going on. And he's like the primary caretaker for their son. And the son is very close to the dad. And she feels like she's missing out on her child's life because she's so busy with work. And also with their marital issues, they've decided to move to France. And so she's telling her friends, yeah, I'm going to be leaving LA. Me and my husband, we're going to pack up and we're going to go to France. It's just going to be better for us. A better quality of life. Things are going to be a little bit slower and not as hectic, and I won't be as busy, and I'll have more time with my son. Okay, fine, wonderful, beautiful. So her husband, he's going to be working. He's going to be the primary, I guess, breadwinner when they move to France, and then she's going to be taking care of their son. But later on in the episode, we find out that he hasn't even landed a job yet. He hasn't even landed a job yet. I thought they had everything ready to go, like they got a home there. He's got a job waiting for him. No, they're going to be living with her parents until they get their own place. And he hasn't found a job yet because he needs to look around for a job where he's going to be able, like they're going to be able to accept him not speaking French because he doesn't speak French. So he wants to find a job where he's going to be able to still speak English, but in the meantime, he is going to try to learn French. Fine. Okay, so it's a lot going on with these people. So he's going to be the primary caretaker when they get to France, and they're going to be staying with her parents. And she says to her friends, we're going to be staying with my parents in a very tiny little house. So that's going to be fun. Her friends are worried about the lack of fat acceptance in France. I'm thinking there's no fat acceptance in America either. If you can be fat in America and survive, you can be fat anywhere and survive. But I guess they have lower tolerance for plus size people in France. And so they're very worried about that. And so she talks a lot about growing up in France, being plus size, and how she was bullied as a child. And her family also made fun of her. She tells the story of when her grandfather first met her husband. Her grandfather like looked her up and down and was like, well, how did a person like you get a guy like that? You know? And just awful. So she's got to deal with fat ridicule from the public and also deal with fat ridicule from her own family. But this is where she's going back to. This is where she's going to be going back to. They meet. Then we get a little bit more background of their relationship and how they met. So they met on a dating app. They met, got married, had a baby, did all of that in less than 3 years. They tell us that when he first met her on their very first date, he knew that he was going to marry her. Manon really struggles with not being the type of mom that she wants to be for her son because the son is very attached to the father and does not really, her and her son don't really have the same type of bond as her husband has with her son. So she really struggles with that because she's gone so much. She's working so much. And so she's missed out on developing that very close bond with her own son. And it's very difficult it's very difficult for her to accept that her son is closer to Anthony than he is to her, because normally children that young gravitate towards their mother because their mother is like their primary caretaker, even if the dad is in the house. But in her situation, it's the exact opposite. So they've already sold their home. They sold it for $810,000, but their proceeds will only be $88,000, and then they have to move out in 2 weeks. So they got to like chop chop, get the hell on out of there. They're selling their car. They were quoted a price of $15,000 for their car, but they still owe $27,000 on this car. So it's going to be a deficit. It's going to be a loss. They're still going to owe like 12. How much are they going to owe? Like 12,000 on the car after it's sold for 15K. So Manon is very stressed out. So they're in the car. I don't know where they're going or where they're coming from. I think they're coming from getting the quote for their car. I don't know where they're going. So they're in their car. They're talking about all their financial issues, and Manon is stressed the hell out. Anthony is more chill and laid back. He's like, hey, as long as we have a roof over our head and food in our belly, we're fine. And we have each other, we're good. Don't stress. And she's like, no, she can't live like that. That type of life to her is scary. She needs to have like a security, a financial security blanket. She is always striving for more and more and more. She grew up with her parents struggling financially, didn't like that. She came to America for a while. She was struggling financially, didn't like that. So she's like, I'm not going back to that. I don't want to go back to where I'm constantly struggling, paycheck to paycheck kind of lifestyle. I want to be super financially comfortable. I want more money, more money, more money. And her husband tells her, you wanting more has caused me to have this amazing relationship with our son, and you resent me for that, because you're always gone trying to make money, and me and the boy have gotten very close, and you resent me for that because you want it to be you. But then again, you're constantly chasing the almighty dollar. And he also tells her, you wanting more has also caused you some mental health issues as well. You need to slow the hell down. It's okay if we don't have an overabundance of money. And he tells her, we sold the house, we're going to get money from that. So what if we owe $12,000 on the car? We'll pay that off with the proceeds from the house. And she's like, but that's money going out. That's money going out. There's no money coming in. And he tells her, you still are going to be working part-time once we get to France, and I'm going to be looking for a job. We're going to be fine. And so he tries to talk her off the ledge, and she just completely freaks out. And she yells at him, if you want someone to think like you, then go be with a woman that thinks like you. I was just like, girl, what is going on? Like, what is really going on here? Is it really about finances or something else going on here? It was just crazy. And so this type of issues, I guess, is adding on to their marital problems. The fact that she's the kind of person where she wants to live a certain, I don't even think she's materialistic. I think she just wants to have financial security. She can't have enough money saved up in her bank accounts. Whereas he's more like, if we can pay the bills and eat and not live under a bridge, we're good. Anthony tells us that he is this whole thing of her wanting more is really tearing them apart, but he really wants to fight for their marriage. And he says if this move to France doesn't solve their marital issues, then he's got nothing left. It's a done deal after that. So Anthony's family comes over because they're gonna tell them that they're moving to France. And Manon is very concerned. She's very anxious about this because she's going to be taken away. I think she said it's either their oldest or their youngest son, and no, their only son. No, he has a brother. I don't know. Taking away their son. And taking away their son, taking away their grandson as well. So he's kind of anxious about dropping this news on his family. So the family comes over, and he has a sister named Sarah. And Sister Sarah is one of those people that, like, with sisters like that, you really don't need enemies. She's I don't know what's going on with Sister Sarah. Sister Sarah doesn't know when to shut the hell up. She talks way too much. She feels like whatever's on her mind, she needs to vocalize it. And instead of being supportive, she was overly critical. So after they tell the family they're moving back to France, the family was shocked. They weren't really happy about it because, I'm assuming they're very close to Anthony and to Anthony's son. And they were trying to just kind of like process this news. Sister Sarah was just talking a mile a minute. So she was like, well, why are y'all doing this? Do you think this is just going to be a band-aid over y'all's problems? And so she was alluding to their marital issues because Manon had confided a lot in Sister Sarah about the problems that she's been having in her marriage. And so Sister Sarah brings up some things that Manon had told her in confidence, because Manon was trying to like tell her, no, we're not trying to put a band-aid over our problem. This is just something that we need to do that's going to be better for the both of us and for our son. This is a decision that we made. And Anthony was also chiming in. He was like, no, we're not trying to like find an easy solution to whatever issues that we're having. We know that we have issues, we're working through them, and this is what we've decided to do. And if you don't like what we've decided, then what the hell do you suggest that we do? So then Sister Sarah is like, well, you know, uh, she was trying to out Manon by by trying to say something like, oh, now you're all like, oh, we're together. We made this decision together and we're moving to France together. But that's not what you were saying when me and you were talking, because you were talking like you were through with all of this, like you were done with him. And Manon was like, did I actually say that I wanted to split up with him? And Sister Sarah was like, yeah. In fact, you told me sometimes being with your brother makes me feel like I want to die inside. I was like, oh my God, Sarah, no. No, ma'am. That was the wrong thing to say. If your sister in law confided in you something like that, y'all, there's something in my eye. If your sister in law confided in you with something like that, you had no right to reveal that to the family. No right. And if Sister Sarah is this much of a backstabber, what is it about her that made Manon feel comfortable revealing such deep and personal thoughts? Because Sister Sarah is a backstabber and not a nice person. Like, what was it about Sister Sarah that made Manon feel like, you know what, I'm going to reveal to her my deepest, darkest secrets about my marriage? And wow. And then Manon once again was like defending her marriage and was like, I've never said that I wanted to split up from Anthony. I've never said that. And so she's like, yes, you did. Yes, you did. You even told me that you wanted to get a divorce. And then that's when Manon was like, you know what? Get the hell out of my house. Get the hell out of my house. And then everybody was like, Sarah, no, don't say that. Sarah, what's wrong with you, girl? Yeah. Oh man, that was something else. That was something else right there. Let's move on to, I think I want to talk about Chloe next. Let's move on to Chloe. Okay, so Chloe is 23 years old from Massachusetts. She's very perky. She's very preppy. She's very just sunshine. She used to be a cheerleader, so she did competitive cheerleading. Now she works in sales. I think she works for her mom's company. And we meet her mom as well. And her mom is like, my goal or my dream was that at some point my daughter would take over my shipping and receiving business or something. I don't know. But Chloe has other plans. She doesn't want to work for her mom's business. She wants to move to Aruba and be with her true love, Jonathan. So she met Jonathan on, she went on a trip to Aruba, met this guy on a boat. He works in the tourism industry. He works on a boat, a pirate boat, and the chemistry was there. They clicked. I'm not going to say that they fell in love, but something was going on between them. And so when she came back, they kept up communicating with one another. And then she went back to Aruba several times to come see him. And now she's decided to leave Massachusetts and go live with him in Aruba. Her mom, of course, has trepidations about Chloe moving to Aruba. She's not really, keen on it, but she's like, hey, this is what you decided to do. It is what it is. So they're packing clothes and everything because I guess she's about to be leaving soon. And her mom holds up like an $80 jar of face cream. And she tells Chloe, you're not going to be able to have $80 jar of face creams in Aruba. Are you sure you really want to do this? Honey, the heart wants what the heart wants. Okay. That face cream, that $80 face cream cannot do for her what this, young, muscular, tanned man working on a pirate's boat can do for her. Chloe has a friend named Jennifer. Jennifer has a husband who's also from Aruba. Jennifer's husband and Jonathan, Chloe's boyfriend, grew up together in Aruba. And when we see Jennifer, she's in her car and she's racing to Chloe's house because she wants to stop Chloe from moving to Aruba because her husband confided in her all the shenanigans that Jonathan has been up to in Aruba away from Chloe. So she's like, I'm trying to convince her that, the guy that she thinks she knows, she really doesn't know. And I don't want her to move to Aruba because this might not be the relationship that she thinks that it is. So she gets to Chloe's house, they sit down and they're talking. And she tells Chloe, well, you know how Aruba is. It's just a magnet for these female tourists who go there and they hook up with the locals. That's what it's all about. And the guys that work on the boats together, they will stick up for each other. So if they have girlfriends, but they're cheating on their girlfriends with these tourist women, they're gonna stand up for their boys and tell their girlfriends, "Oh no, Jonathan ain't doing that. Jonathan ain't sleeping around with the tourist chicks. He's not like that." So they all stand up for each other. So you'll never know what the truth is. So she's like, "But he is definitely doing that." And we also find out that Jonathan had cheated on her in the past. He was with some other woman. She found out about it. I don't know if she found out about it through social media or if he confessed to her. I really don't know. But he was seeing another woman, and when he confessed to her, when he got caught, however she came to find out, he told her, "Oh yeah, I was with Susie Q, but I told Susie Q that I was with you as well. She knew all about you because I told Susie Q that I was in an open relationship," which they weren't. And for whatever reason, Chloe still stayed with him. Um, I think that's how it went down. Jennifer says that, okay, it's a hot spot for the female tourists and the guys on the boat stick up for each other. But, you can't tell Chloe nothing. The heart wants what the heart wants. And so she is still going to be going to Aruba. So there's not much going on there. We just kind of got a little taste of Chloe and Jonathan, and hopefully, we'll get more information later. Moving on to the couple that I dreaded to talk about, that I was not looking forward to seeing at all this season, Luke and Madeline. Y'all, I am not here for Luke and Madeline. They're too much for me. They're just too much. Madeline is just too much. And Luke is just, I'm just, they're just not my cup of tea. I can't really put my finger on it. They're just not my cup of tea. Um, the Madeline, I don't know what she thinks is going on. I don't know what she thinks Luke is all about. She thought she found herself a sugar daddy who was going to pay for this lavish lifestyle. Luke, I guess, had money because he had a job, but he ended up losing his really good job. And then he started scrambling around and trying to start his own businesses. Those two businesses flopped. He had a sunglass business and he also had a jewelry business. Both of those businesses flopped, or they're struggling. They're not doing well. He's not making any money from them, and he is in some serious debt. And Madeline has been begging him to move to Colombia. And he's like, "I can't move to Colombia right away because I'm still trying to make money here in America to make life comfortable for us in Colombia." Because she likes the finer things in life. She likes the luxurious things, the name brands. In fact, they're engaged. They're going to be getting married in Colombia. She wants a helicopter for her wedding. She wants a helicopter to fly her into her own wedding. So she wants a lot. She's very materialistic, and Luke is drowning in debt trying to keep her happy. So she wants to blah blah blah. Luke wants to stay in the U.S. to make money. So the next time that we see Luke, he's with his dad. And his dad is a more successful businessman. Luke talks about how he really admires his dad because his dad makes really good business decisions, and they're very close. And he thinks that his dad is a very wise man, but he doesn't listen to his dad. So his dad was asking him about, how are your two businesses going? And he talks about how the businesses aren't doing that well. So his next plan is to start a hotel in Colombia. He found a piece of property available for sale at a really good deal. So he wants to hurry up, buy it up, and turn it into a hotel. The dad is like, "You know what, Luke, you're too scatterbrained. You're way too scatterbrained. You got a whole bunch of degrees. You went to school for 100 years, but it's like you've learned nothing. You started these two businesses. It didn't go well. Now you're moving on to something else. It's just too much going on. And plus you have this very, very high maintenance woman. And so I don't know about this." Of course, Luke isn't trying to listen to any of that. He still wants to go to Colombia. He still wants to be with Madeline. He thinks it's all going to work out. And so his dad tells him, "I love you. I care for you. I'm always here for you. Um, I like Madeline. I'm happy that you're getting married. If you need me, I'm here." And so the father is very concerned for Luke. He cares about Luke a lot. He even started crying because, his son is about to venture off to a whole nother country and start a whole nother life. And because he didn't make the best decisions in America, the father's probably worried to death as to what kind of decisions he's going to be making in a whole nother country, in Colombia. So the father gives him a very tearful hug, and he just hopes and prays that everything is going to work out for, our boy Luke. And we'll just see how that goes down. But I see nothing but problems ensuing between Luke and Madeline. I don't have much else to say. Oh, by the way, she started doing pageants. So she's entered 2 pageants. She's won one of them. And so that's her thing now, is pageants. Don't know what else to say. Thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. On your way out, please don't forget to rate the video if you like this content. Please subscribe to my channel, and I'll definitely talk to you later.